This video is for anyone working on their first manga or second manga, third manga, just trying to become a better artist at drawing. It's just so funny because, first of all, I've quit 18 jobs. I dropped out of college twice. I just have a bad history on quitting. So how is it that this is gonna change? And maybe you need to hear this. Maybe you're bad at quitting, and it's funny because one of the traits that I've looked up to for my whole life, when I was in middle school. I'm almost 22 now, but one of the traits that I've always looked, all the artists I've ever looked up to, they have one trait in common, and that was the obsessiveness. That was the drive. I see all these videos on YouTube on how to draw manga, how to learn manga. We get better at drawing so we can, work on our manga. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but it doesn't even matter. You could be the best drawer in the world, and nobody may ever even know about it because you quit. I quit. I've quit. Like I said, I've quit 18 jobs, and like those 18 jobs were in the span of 3 years. Isn't that crazy? And I often pondered, why did that happen? Because I didn't have a strong enough why. And I have a strong enough why now to release my first manga, and you have a plan. Like, I'm starting production on this manga on June 1st, and I'm going to get the whole thing done by July 12th. I'm going to do the cover art. I'm probably going to give myself like 3 days to have everything ready by July 15th. I'm going to release it on July 17th with a documentary. Like, I have a plan, I have a goal, I have a vision, and that's what you need. And on those 18 jobs that I've had, I never had a strong enough why, and I didn't want to be there, so I quit. That's why I dropped out of college twice. I didn't have a strong enough why, so I quit. And it's funny, though, because I'll also say this, is all those losses actually make you a better person, because now here I am making this video, here I am releasing my first manga on July 17th, and if I didn't have all those previous losses, I wouldn't be here making this video. So it actually is important not to beat yourself down with all those losses. And it's funny because I don't see this enough talked about. We look up videos on how to become better drawers. We look up videos on how to draw manga, how to draw backgrounds, how to story tell, with the Shonen Jump, there are 3 traits that they have. I can't think of them on the top of my head right now. We look up all those things, right? But one trait that I don't see people talk about enough is the obsession that you have to have. Because like I just said, you could have all of those things, and people may never even know that your manga exists because you quit. And you don't have that strong enough why, nor do you have the obsession. And obsession is the biggest key that you have. If you can be so obsessed and never quit, you can literally work for Shonen Jump in due time. It may take, obviously, it's not, there's no shortcuts to this, but that's not what I'm trying to say. But if you have the obsession, and if you can just keep on going and never quit, and you have the why, and you're motivated always, and you have that burning desire, you'll be in Shonen Jump in no time. I hope one day to be in Shonen Jump in no time. And it's funny because by the way, I don't mean to make these motivational videos like this, because I'm not, maybe I should time lapse myself drawing or something, or making my concept art or something. But this is something that I really just felt called to make, because I really wanted to let everybody know you have to be obsessed. One of the artists I look up to is Jim Lee. He is very known. He's the vice president of DC Comics, and he says to keep drawing until your hands hurt, and then when you want to quit, like maybe it's getting late, you keep drawing and you keep drawing and you keep drawing. On my YouTube shorts, I've been documenting my journey every single day, and I used to say, I'm drawing 5 hours every single day, but in reality now it's more like 8 to 12. And I'm not saying that you have to, because we all have bad days, right? And just because you're drawing 10 hours a day, you may, it doesn't, what I'm trying to say is sometimes you may have a 5-hour drawing day that was actually better than a 10-hour drawing day. Point being though is that in general, you want to just always just keep drawing no matter what. If you're in any downtime that you have, you just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm technically speaking, I'm an aspiring mangaka, because I actually don't have an official manga out right now, but I have the recipe to make it, and this is why I wanted to make this video, because I just see all these videos all the time, storytelling ideas, how to draw better, but us artists, we always forget that it always comes down to ourselves, and it always comes down to our why, and our why is just as important. You know, like I said, it was 18 jobs, dropping out of college twice is a very big motivation for me. Another big motivation for me is heartbreak. You know, I still think about my relationship from 3 years ago, and it just keeps me going. It keeps me going. It keeps me going. And in fact, this manga, it's an action and romance manga, and oftentimes one of the best, mangakas like Fujimoto, and Look Back, it's a one-shot. It's actually about him. The two characters are a play on himself, and that's what I'm doing on my own one-shot. Is I'm taking that sort of inspiration, and the main character, he doesn't look like me at all, but it's a play on myself, and it's a play to want to go back and fix things, and just about my own life. And I'm very excited for it, and I think
oftentimes we find the best inspiration, we find the best motivation, we find the best obsession, we draw the best art when we're the most hungry, and we know that there's nothing else in the world that matters most to us. It's just so funny because I can't imagine myself doing anything else anymore. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I'm hungry to be a pro mangaka. I'm hungry to work for Shonen Jump. And this YouTube channel is literally a documentary to me to work for Shonen Jump. I know that sounds crazy because I'm not even Japanese, and and I live in America. But if I have a great enough story, if I have great enough art, believe me, you can do anything. Anything's possible. So that's my dream. That's my goal. And I just really wanted to hit home in today's video. You have to be obsessed, and you have to have that why. Otherwise, you're going to be like myself in the past, and you're going to keep quitting, and you're going to keep quitting, you're going to keep quitting. And then once you find that, and I finally found my why, I found my obsession, which is drawing, I'm using those past failures now for success. It's that simple. So I'm just going to leave you with that. And my first manga is action romance manga. It's coming out on July 17th on my own website that's coming out soon, and on Global Comics. So subscribe, because I'm also documenting my journey every single day on YouTube Shorts. And you really see my obsession on there. It's crazy. But much love to everybody. Love you. See ya.